Good afternoon. My name is Hae-Sun Kim, advisor of Gangneung Labor Law Firm. Today we're gonna discuss about the recent article published by Labor Daily about the adoption of a recent policy of inviting the domestic worker from foreign countries. So could you explain about the background of the article, please?
Hello, how are you today? This is Bong Soo-jung, Korean Labor Attorney. Today I read an article about Labor Ministry's policy to introduce the foreign domestic workers in Korea. So actually so far we Korean house can hire only the Korean Chinese, but now because of a shortage of labor force, they want to import domestic workers from Philippines or other Asian countries. So the newspaper reported that they are in this policy. So the price of the hiring those domestic workers is that they should pay at least minimum wage by Korean Minimum Wage Act. Also, those domestic workers will stay in independent housing outside of their houses, like individual houses. So this is a very brand new policy. Yeah.
I see. Based on my understanding and when I have been traveling abroad, especially in Singapore, they also hire the domestic worker from foreign countries like Myanmar or Philippines. But in their cases, they can only pay a minimum amount of salary. For example, like $500 amount of. But in case of Korea, as you explained, we have to pay minimum hourly wage, which is a very high compared to the labor, the domestic worker that we will hire. So what is the problem of this policy?
I think the labor minister policy has a certain characteristic, that is the household should pay the minimum wage by Korean Minimum Wage Act. Also the foreign domestic workers should stay outside in independent housing. So those two requirements are something that this market cannot accept. So basic the content for successful implementation is dependent on how much the household pay for hiring those domestic workers. So in like Singaporean case, they are paying like what you said, like $500 US. But in Korea, according to the Minimum Wage Act, at least the household should pay 2 million Korean won or more. I think for individual household, it's very hard to pay such much money. So it's a letter for their spouse, like female spouses stay home and take care of their children. So I think their policy has a certain loophole about missing importing. To be successful policy, they must introduce like a house. The foreign domestic worker must stay at their house and they take care of their children or senior people 24 hours. Also, the wage or their payment should be like between 500,000 won to 1 million won. So if it is too expensive, normally household cannot take care of that. Only the very rich household will hire such people. Then this policy cannot be successful in general field. So I hope the Labor Ministry consider how the Singaporean the domestic and foreign domestic workers system is applied in reality.
Yeah. If the labor ministry study hard, there must be a number of papers and articles and published, by Korean Gangnam Labor Law Firm and other references in order to make this policy workable and reasonable. But as you said, because we have to pay the minimum wage, it's no difference between hiring the low labor foreign domestic worker and the Korean domestic worker. So I think we need to advise, and the Ministry of Labor Ministry should study very hard about how to improve the policy. So what is your additional comment about
Yeah, I strongly agree to your suggestion. So I think Korean government should pay attention to how Singaporean government has introduced this foreign domestic workers system. So it's been more than like half a century, like the 50 years they have used this system very successfully. So now Korean government tried to introduce such a foreign domestic workers system. But I think the method how they are going to introduce, I think they never be successful if they implement paying minimum wage or letting them to stay outside of the individual houses. So I hope that this government or labor ministry must pay attention to the examples how Singaporean government have used this system very successfully. So, that is something I feel very sorry about their new policy. They'll never be successful if they implement this way.
So if they pay minimum wage, even though the domestic worker, they don't have to work like 8 hours, but they will be still paid, and they can go outside and stay outside of the household. So I think this can be can have a side effect. Many say side effect.
Yeah, I strongly believe that when I studied the foreign domestic worker system, I realized they have a special law to protecting foreign domestic workers at the same time to making this system successful. That is they try to restrict the employment of foreign domestic workers by charging some special levy. But those couple who need those domestic workers, then they can refund what they paid, kind of the extra the levy for hiring foreign domestic workers. Also, this system, it's a rotation system, foreign domestic workers cannot stay in their country more than 3 years. So every 3 years they have to be replaced. So I think it provides many meaningful things, protecting foreign domestic workers, at the same time securing the long-term way to use foreign domestic workers. If foreign domestic workers run away from their house, then the household they lose their security charge. When they hire some foreign domestic workers, they put the security money in the government. But so because the foreign domestic worker run away, then they could not get back the security money. So this is one way to prevent some abuse of those foreign domestic workers. Also, at the same time, there are other systems like the medical insurance or some special insurance to protect the workers. So those, I hope this Korean Labor Ministry to focus on more complicated system. But main thing is paying less than between 500,000 and 1 million won. Also, them staying at home together. These two things are major successful items that they should consider.
I see. So I hope that the Labor Ministry can refer to the many a number of articles and examples that Gangnam Labor Law Firm at least published so far,
Yeah.
so that they can improve the policy on the long-term basis. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.